Welcome to the Lifestyle First podcast, discussing lifestyle medicine and making self-care as easy as 1, 2, 3. One question, 2 research reviews, and 3 actionable health tips, all centered around the Lifestyle First method, your blueprint for the 10 key routes of optimal health and happiness. And now your host, lifestyle medicine physician and coach, Dr. Alka Patel.
Welcome to Season 5, Episode 1. Happy New Year to you all, 2021. I'm delighted that you're here to see the beginning of the year in with me. And I hope through this year and through this podcast and channel, we can keep zoned in on those aspects of our lives that bring us great health, along with happiness and fulfillment. So, to kickstart the year, I have 2 announcements. The first is 4 little words I've been wanting to put together and say for some time now. And those words are, I am an author. Yes, alongside 30 other co-authors, we have come together and bring to you the book, A Prescription for Healthy Living, a guide to lifestyle medicine. It is full of lifestyle information: food, caffeine, fasting, fitness, gratitude, stress, psychology are just a few of the chapters. And the chapter that I have authored is The Science of Happiness, which of course makes me very happy. So, this season, I am going to be bringing on the amazing authors of the book so that we can take a deep dive into so many areas of lifestyle. Today, the theme in the Lifestyle First method we're exploring is L, life's purpose. And the one question we're discussing is, why does kindness matter? 2 references to support today's discussion are a 2013 research paper by Kim and Ferraro looking at inflammation and kindness, and another 2013 research paper by Alden and True looking at kindness and anxiety. So let me welcome to the show Dr. Emma Short. Emma is the editor of the book, A Prescription for Healthy Living. It was her and her concepts that really bound this book together. And Emma's also a consultant histopathologist in the making, on her final stages of her training in Wales. And she holds a PhD in cancer genetics and diplomas in mindful nutrition and shinrin yoku. She's a qualified meditation teacher, a personal trainer. I could go on. There is no end to her skills. And like me, she is fascinated by the interaction between the mind and the body. So Emma, welcome. Happy New Year is the first thing to say. And thank you so much for opening the show with me for 2021. I think we have to start the year, don't we, by talking about the book of the year, A Prescription for Healthy Living. You can see by the smile on my face how excited I am about this. And we're exploring purpose today. So I wonder if maybe you can take us all the way back to the beginning. Where did the idea for putting this book together come from, and why did you want this book to be created? What was the purpose behind the book?
Oh, thank you very much, Alka, and a very happy new year to you too. So I guess, as you mentioned, I'm a registrar in pathology and my research was in cancer genetics. So a very large part of my clinical workload and my research work is involved in diagnosing cancer. So through that, I spent a lot of time at cancer conferences. And it was very obvious that a very large amount of money and time goes into researching early cancer diagnosis, early cancer treatment, which of course is absolutely vital. But what seemed to me was that there seemed to be quite a big lack of time and money going into disease prevention. And when you look at the statistics, you'll see that around 40% of cancer is avoidable. And then when we think about other chronic diseases, so 80% of premature heart disease, stroke and diabetes can be prevented. So at that time, it really got me interested in lifestyle medicine. So looking at approaches that can be used not just to prevent disease, but to promote health, promote well-being. And these type of interventions don't need to be complicated or time-consuming or expensive. Often very simple lifestyle modifications, such as being more active, eating a balanced and healthy diet, maintaining social connections, reducing social isolation, have a really big and positive impact on improving health and well-being. So I really wanted to put together a book which addressed all of these, but also which address them in an evidence-based manner, because if you look on social media, there can be quite a lot of false claims and pseudoscience. So I really wanted to get together an evidence-based, scientifically rigorous book which addressed various aspects of lifestyle medicine with the aim of improving health and well-being.
Well, there's a purpose if you ever needed one, hey? Thank you. Thanks for sharing that reason why. So there you went, I guess, from the possibility of a book to an actuality. You've had this purpose in mind and this resolve, I guess, to create what you'd set out to create. And we do, don't we? We often resolve to do things. We make ourselves promises, especially, this time of year, we're setting ourselves resolutions. But I wondered about purpose and resolution. There's a bit of an overlap. There's a bit of a difference as well. What actually is the difference between having a resolution and having purpose?
Yeah, so you're very much right, Alka. There is overlap, but they are different concepts. So a resolution is a promise to yourself to do something or not to do something. So particularly at this time of the year, people make New Year's resolutions, and they're often along the lines of, I promise I'll give up smoking, I will exercise 3 times a week. So resolution can be thought of as your what you want to achieve, whereas purpose goes a little bit deeper than that. It's more your why. So why do you want to do something? Why you want to achieve it? Why am I here? Why do I want to achieve my goals? And purpose is really what gives you the energy to get up in the morning. It's what fuels your passion to work towards your goals. And interestingly, there's a Japanese, it's both a method and a term, ikigai, which literally translated means your reason for being. And this method suggests asking yourself 4 questions to think about what your purpose is. And these questions are, what do you love? What are you good at? What does the world need? And then if you're thinking about it, your purpose in a professional context, also what can you get paid for? But ultimately, an individual's purpose is a very unique endeavour, and it's something which is very personal to them.
I think you're right. Ikigai is a very sort of culturally quite deep philosophy in Japan, isn't it? I think there's a sort of Western interpretation, exactly how you've described it, which certainly is very useful. And I think the other thing you raised was that purpose is actually really different for everybody. There can't really be this universal definition, can there? But I guess I wanted to question, do you think there is one binding purpose for all of us, sort of experiences for us that are sort of common ground in humanity? Is there a binding purpose?
I think if you ask that question to lots of people, a very common theme which comes up, which is wonderful, is that of kindness. A lot of people feel their purpose is to help other people, to improve the world, to help those less fortunate themselves. And I think that the concept of kindness is summed up very beautifully in a quote from John Leslie, who was the founder of Methodism. And he stated that we should all aim to do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can, which I love that phrase. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it kind of immerses you in absolutely everything, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it's all pervasive.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I used to say to my children when they were little, actually, that when you're talking to somebody, just imagine they've got a sign around their neck that says, "Be kind to me."
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah.
I'm not sure how far that carried them, but it was certainly, a relatively sort of common concept in our house for a number of years. But I guess kindness then does mean things to different people, doesn't it? Whether when I'm talking to it with my children or family or colleagues or patients, kindness can mean different things to different people. Is there a definition? What actually is kindness?
So there are different definitions depending on where you look. The Cambridge Dictionary describes it as being the quality of being generous, helpful and caring about other people, or an act showing this quality. The actual word kindness is thought to have derived from an Old English word kindes, and it was thought to have its origins in nation, noble deeds and courtesy. Some of the philosophers have tried to define kindness, and Aristotle wrote that kindness is helpfulness towards someone in need, not in return for anything, nor for the advantage of the helper himself, but for that of the person helped. And I think, to me, in its simplest form, kindness is characterised by behaviours which are performed in a selfless manner to improve the well-being of others and of the world. And interestingly, some people believe that it was kindness which primes the human species for language development. And it's been shown that when early humans started to prefer cooperative colleagues and friends to those who were more aggressive, they became tamer. And this was associated with the evolution of a variety of physical and biochemical characteristics which were essential for language formation. Kindness isn't just something that we're aware of as an adult. Kindness can actually be recognised by babies as young as 6 months old. And it's been shown that infants take into consideration an individual's actions towards others when they're evaluating that person as being appealing or aversive. And babies actually prefer people who help others compared to those who hinder other people or who are neutral. And it's thought that this capacity may play a role in forming the foundations of moral behaviours, and the fact that it occurs at such an early age suggests that social evaluation is a biological adaptation. And I think that at the moment, in the current time, kindness is especially relevant and is especially important. Life's hard for so many people at the moment. The COVID pandemic had a huge and devastating impact on countless individuals, and it continues to do so. And even before the pandemic hit, many people were suffering. Food banks, the use of food banks had increased by 73% over the last 5 years. An estimated 1 in 50 households were visiting food banks in 2019, and it's likely that these figures have got much worse because of the pandemic. 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health problem each year, and statistics show that rates of loneliness have increased over the last decade. And really sadly, it's reported that 1 in 8 adults describe themselves as having no close friends. For many people, either work or the lack of work can be a source of stress. And the World Health Organization now actually recognises burnout as an occupational phenomenon, which is characterised by feelings of exhaustion, negativity and cynicism. So for a lot of people, modern life places many demands on their time, and it can be hard to juggle all the different commitments that people have, and this can cause feelings of stress and anxiety. So I really feel that what we need now more than ever is for people to be kind, to show each other compassion and warmth, and to do what you can to try and improve the happiness of those around you.
Yeah, gosh, you've hit on so many really, really important points there, Emma. And I guess it's that ripple effect, isn't it, that sort of spread through kindness. And I feel it 2 ways. There's a sort of downstream effect affecting the person that you're being kind to, but it also comes back to you. You know, you really feel that coming back to you. Although, as you've sort of put in your definitions, kindness is about what you give. Actually, there's so much reward in that as well. What are the benefits? I mean, certainly there's a lot of research around the actual benefits of kindness, aren't there? Can you sort of give us a little bit of intel into what the research tells us?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you say, there's a lot of research and it's all really positive and really motivating. And exactly as you said, Alka, acts of kindness benefit everyone, so the giver, the receiver and society as a whole. So there was one study which looked at nearly 1,800 individuals between the ages of 57 and 85. And that study reported that individuals who engaged in voluntary activities, which can be thought of as a kind act, had lower levels of CRP in their blood. And CRP stands for C-reactive protein, and it's an indicator of inflammation and is associated with chronic diseases such as high blood pressure, stroke and heart disease. Volunteering has also been linked to positive well-being, reduced symptoms of depression and improved self-ratings of health. Kindness can have a positive impact on many domains of life. If you practice kindness, this is associated with reduced social anxiety, one study has even suggested it can reduce the duration and severity of a common cold. There was one study which looked at 142 individuals who suffered from social anxiety, and these individuals were randomly assigned to groups. One group were encouraged to perform kind acts. Another group underwent conditions which were designed to reduce negative mood, and the third group were the control group. After 4 weeks, the group performing kind acts were reported to have experienced significant increases in positive mood, to have improved relationship satisfaction, and reduced social avoidance. Interestingly, kindness has also a role to play in spending habits and well-being. So both children and adults who purchase good for others or give away their treats experience greater happiness than when they receive products themselves, which kind of illustrates the hedonic benefits of generosity. And finally, it's also been shown that kind behaviours towards others result in greater increases in psychological well-being than the self-focused behaviours, which kind of means that to boost mood, it's important to be kind to yourself, but it is also very important to treat other people well. And this is probably related to the fact that performing kind acts is associated with increased levels of dopamine in the brain. And this is a chemical which plays a role in the experience of pleasure, reward, and motivation.
Gosh, so really there are sort of countless benefits, really, as you say, to the giver, the receiver, and to society. I don't know what your experience of people is like, Emma, but people that I engage with, sometimes kindness is one of those traits that I just see so naturally. There's the natural generosity in some people, and in others, that's just not as evident. So I wonder, are we all naturally kind? Is kindness more a genetic trait? And can you actually, do you think, learn to be kind? What's your experience?
I think that's a really, really interesting question. What makes somebody a kind person? As you say, some people do seem to have an innate desire to help other people, and it seems to come naturally to them. It seems to be second nature. It's not something they have to do. And I think that this is probably the result of a very complex interaction between their genetics, the social environment they grew up in, and their current life situation. For other people, kindness doesn't always seem to come as easily. Sometimes these people have underlying issues that might need exploring, but kindness is definitely something which can be learned. So if kindness doesn't come easily or naturally, it can be helpful for people just to make a conscious effort to perform kind acts. And these can just be really small, really simple things. Offer to make someone a cup of tea, hold the door open for somebody. And when you start to perform the kind acts, they can become more habitual, and then it becomes more of a second nature. And you mentioned earlier the ripple effect. The wonderful thing about kindness is that it really does have a ripple effect. And again, this is backed up by studies. Research has shown that individuals who receive acts of kindness experience higher levels of happiness than controls, but also they're 3 times more likely to engage in pro-social acts than other people. So if someone's kind to you, you feel good, you feel happy, and then you're then much more likely to pass it on. So both givers and receivers benefit from the acts of kindness. And also it's quite interesting that these positive effects aren't always short-lived. They can last over a period of weeks to months. One paper reported that following a kindness intervention, there are short-term improvements in well-being, for example, in parameters such as autonomy and competence. But even 2 months after the kindness intervention has ended, the receivers of that kind act still continue to experience increased levels of happiness, and the givers have reduced symptoms of depression and report more satisfaction with their jobs and with their lives. So practicing kindness really is emotionally reinforcing and contagious. Another thing I think is also worth mentioning is that as well as practicing kindness, I also think it's important to recognise, acknowledge, and to be grateful when people do kind acts to you, because sometimes it's quite easy to take kind acts for granted and to not really think about them. But when you reflect on kindness, when you appreciate kindness, when you foster sort of an attitude of gratitude, this then further increases your well-being and your emotional resilience.
Yeah, no, I think you're completely spot on, Emma. It's back to that little invisible plaque around all our say, be kind to me. And when you receive that, take that moment to really, really, recognize it and appreciate it. We often, as you say, we're into the next moment before one's passed, and we sometimes need that extra sort of pause, don't we, really? So
absolutely.
And now, here is your lifestyle first prescription. Your 3 activating actions to take you from knowing to doing.
Well, we're now at my favourite part of the episode, because it is the part where we go from knowing to doing, all that information that you've shared with us today. Have you got 3 takeaways, 3 actions that we can all take today?
Yes, absolutely. So the first one, because we're talking about kindness, I hope this will spring to the forefront. The first action point is to make a conscious effort to be kind regularly. So how often you do it is entirely up to you. It can be weekly, it could be daily, but ideally make a conscious effort to do something kind, and so that it becomes habit and it becomes second nature. The second is going back to what we said about recognising when someone's done something kind to you. So just try and make an effort to recognise and acknowledge acts of kindness, and to feel gratitude for these acts of kindness, because gratitude in itself has got so many positive benefits, which has been discussed in a previous podcast of yours. And then the third point, going back to the beginning of the podcast when we were talking about purpose, is simply just to ask yourself, what is my purpose? Because it can be really useful to consider this, to reflect upon it, as it prompts you to think whether your current actions, your current behaviours align with your ideals and your aims. And if they don't, it can give you the opportunity to think about what you might need to change in order to be living towards what you feel your own purpose is.
Amazing. Thank you, Emma. Those are definitely things that we can leapfrog into and take sort of, very immediate action on, and really start, as you say, embed into our day to day. And it comes from some regularity and really keeping kindness and gratitude at the forefront, really, and focusing on purpose as well as that real driver as well. Emma, I'm sure after listening to you today, people are going to want to get in touch with you. So where's the best place to find you?
Oh, thank you very much. And thank you for having me here. My Instagram is at Dr._Emma Short. And our webpage is www.energizehealth.org.
Amazing. Thank you for that. I will put those links out for everybody. And I guess just coming back to the book is, when can we see it? When can we hold it? And where can people go to find it?
So the book should be out middle of January, so just in a couple of weeks. It's available through the Elsevier webpage, the academic publisher Elsevier. It's also available through Amazon.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Emma. Really enjoyed that conversation. We've been through 1 question, you brought 2 references, and we're leaving with 3 actions. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year.
You too.
Before I bring today's episode to a close, I did say that I had 2 announcements to kickstart 2021. My second announcement is the launch of the Lifestyle First Academy. I'm opening the doors to my academy this month. This is the key training platform to help you discover, notice and activate who you are, what you want and where you are going, so that you can create a happy, healthy lifestyle. My flagship course, Start Now, Transform Your Lifestyle to Transform Your Life, launches on the 24th of January, which is International Education Day. And I've chosen this day intentionally as I'm also contributing to providing education facilities to children around the world. Your commitment to learning through my Start Now course means that you too will be contributing to global education. What a great way to mark International Education Day. And up to the 24th of January, I'm also providing a 24% discount with the code JAN24. So just head over to my website, to the Academy page, and become a founder member to start your journey of transformation for 2021. And I would, of course, love you to also subscribe and share this channel so that you too can help spread messages of health that matter. Which now leaves me to simply wish you a happy, healthy day.
Thanks for joining us on the Lifestyle First podcast, making self-care as easy as 1, 2, 3. Don't forget to subscribe and share, and we'd love it if you'd be kind enough to leave a review. To learn more or to arrange a consultation, please visit www.dralkapatel.com.